Welcome back to Everything Automotive, where we cover different topics from the car world, from dream buys to hidden nightmares, without any sugarcoating. Today we're taking a long, hard look at one of the most legendary BMWs ever made, the E60 M5. This is the sedan with a screaming 5-liter naturally aspirated V10 engine, supercar level performance tucked into a practical luxury body. In 2026, right here in North America, you can find examples for as low as $20,000 to $35,000, sometimes even lower on high mileage ones. That's the price of a decent used compact car, but with 500 horsepower and a redline of 8,250 RPM. The engine also sounds great, it will turn heads everywhere. It looks like the ultimate deal. Family friendly, 4 doors, roomy interior, blistering speed, and the exotic V10 soundtrack, all for far less than a new entry level M car. But we'll unpack in this extended deep dive why the car is often called a trap. It's called a trap for a good reason. The low entry price hides massive potential repair bills and can turn your dream into a financial headache. Let's begin with the positives, and there are plenty. The E60 M5, built from 2005 to 2010, was BMW M Division's boldest statement yet. This wasn't just an upgraded 5 Series, it was engineered to compete with supercars while staying practical. The star is the S85 engine, a 5-liter naturally aspirated V10 drawing from BMW's Formula One experience. It delivers 500 horsepower at 7,750 RPM and 383 pound-feet of torque, revving to 8,250 RPM, the highest redline in any production BMW ever. Acceleration 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, quarter mile in the low 12 seconds, and unrestricted top speed over 300 kilometers an hour. But it's not just numbers, it's the delivery. It's raw and immediate. No turbo lag, no hybrid complexity, just pure linear power that builds and builds until the rev limiter. The sound is legendary. The high-pitched metallic scream just sounds amazing. It's music to any car enthusiast's ears. Often compared to Formula One cars and supercars, it's addictive, and lots of people say it's the best-sounding production BMW engine ever made. Chassis-wise, the E60 platform was already excellent. Precise steering, near-perfect weight balance, rear-wheel drive, and amazing handling. BMW added M-specific upgrades like adaptive EDC dampers for switching between comfort and sport, thicker anti-roll bars, and reinforced components. This 1,800-kilogram sedan carves corners like a much lighter sports car. It's balanced, responsive, and rewarding on the twisty back roads or the track. Practicality sets it apart from pure sports cars. 4 doors, comfortable seating for 5 with lots of legroom in the rear, a large trunk for groceries or luggage, luxury features like leather upholstery, optional heads-up display, premium audio, and climate control. It's the ultimate sleeper. From the outside, it blends in as an executive sedan. The inside, under the hood, it's a beast. The design has aged beautifully. From the controversial bangle styling, flamed surface sides, aggressive grille, quad exhaust, it looks timeless now. Subtle M badges and flared arches give it a presence without screaming for attention. Affordability in 2026 makes it tempting. Originally priced over $86,000, depreciation has been steep due to maintenance reputation. Clean examples with under 150,000 kilometers, which is about 90,000 miles, go for about $30,000 to $40,000. Well-used ones with some problems, but they're running well, will dip to $20,000 to $30,000. That's cheaper than many modern hot hatches, yet you get an exotic V10 with high performance and rarity. BMW also hasn't made a V10 since. Enthusiasts rave about it as the most analog M5. Manual transmission options in most markets, no forced induction, pure driving joy. Mods are straightforward, maybe an exhaust for some louder sound, intakes for a little bit better response. And it holds value as a future classic. For the price of a used family SUV, you get a supercar thrill and a practical car. It seems like one of the best options in the used performance car market, until reality hits. Now, we get to the part that separates dreamers from the real owners, the trap. The E60 M5's low used prices aren't a gift. They're a reflection of its reputation for expensive, labor-intensive repairs. This V10 was designed as a halo performance engine, not for easy ownership or high mileage reliability. These issues can get big, and I'm talking very big. Many cars sit neglected because one bill turns into another and it snowballs into several. Expect to budget about $8,000 to $25,000 in your first 1 to 2 years on your typical high mileage example if preventative work was never done. Let's break down every major issue in depth. What fails, why it fails, symptoms you'll notice while driving or scanning codes, diagnostic steps, fixes, DUI versus shop, cost estimates for parts and labor, and how to avoid these issues. These aren't hypotheticals. They're pulled from thousands of owner reports on M5 board, Reddit, piston heads, and a lot more forums. Let's start with the rod bearings. This is hands down the most infamous E60 M5 problem and the reason many end up parted out. The S85 V10 uses thin wall rod bearings with extremely tight clearances. From the factory, it's 0.001 to 0.002 inches. High revs with 7,000 RPM pulls, infrequent or incorrect oil changes, and oil starvation during cold starts caused accelerated wear. Bearings thin out, copper backing shows, then they spin, destroying rods, cranks, and often the entire block. They fail typically around 80,000 to 140,000 kilometers, earlier in colder climates like Canada and northern United States due to the oil being thicker on startup and salt contamination. Symptoms start subtle, a faint metallic ticking, then a knocking under load, especially around 4,000 to 6,000 RPM, then a low oil pressure light starts flickering, then very rough idling, then out of nowhere, boom, your engine's locked and it won't start. If you ignore this, metal shavings circulate, starving other components of oil. To diagnose this, drop the oil pan for inspection. Visual check for copper flakes. Use a borescope through the drain plug or pull the engine for a full teardown. Many shops recommend proactive replacement during any major service. To prevent this, do oil changes at about 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers with quality 10W60 oil that meets the BMW requirements. You have to let your car warm up. No revving until about 80 degrees Celsius. Avoid short trips, and you have to preemptively replace them at about 80,000 to 100,000 kilometers. To fix this, you need to remove the engine. That's about 10 to 20 hours labor, and install upgraded bearings with better clearance. Usually they're about 0.0023 to 0.0025, and that improves the oil flow. You could also go with some upgraded rod bolts for some extra security. You should also do a full inspection on the engine while you're in there. Might as well check the oil pump and all that. And usually this is going to go for about $4,500 to $8,000 to get this done. The parts are usually about $1,000 to $3,000. So if you're looking at that, it's pretty expensive, but it's better than replacing an engine because if your bearings spin, you're going to have to do a full short block rebuild or a used engine swap, and that can range from $18,000 all the way up to $35,000 plus. This one issue alone can make a $25,000 M5 a $40,000 plus project, so always demand bearing history. The next issue is the throttle actuators. They're known for putting the car in limp mode. The S85 has individual throttle bodies, yes, one per cylinder. That's 10 total, controlled by 2 electronic actuators, one per bank. Internal plastic gears wear from constant heat cycles and vibration in the engine. Gears strip, causing poor throttle response or complete failure. Symptoms could be rough or uneven idle, hesitation or surging on acceleration, reduced power, limp mode, which will be an engine light plus a DSC/EML warning, fault codes like 2B15 or 2B16, and it often starts slowly, but it worsens in hot weather or after a really hard drive. To diagnose this properly, you're going to have a good OBD tool that can read actuator adaptation values, but if you don't have that, you can have someone rev it in neutral and you could listen to the throttle bodies for any clicking or grinding. To avoid this issue, try not to do as many short drives where you don't let the engine fully warm up and avoid excessive idling. Also, you can upgrade to some Teflon reinforced gears during a replacement if they've already failed or just to do some preemptive maintenance. To fix this, replace both actuators. Use upgraded units or rebuild them with upgraded components. If you use OEM ones, they will fail again eventually. This usually costs about $1,500 to $3,500, with parts being about $800 up to $1,800. That's for the pair of both actuators. And if you run into this issue, the car might be drivable, but it won't drive good, and eventually it will leave you stranded. Another issue is the SMG transmission. Most E60 M5s have the 7-speed SMG3, a get-reg automated manual with hydraulic actuation. It's fast in sport mode, but it's notoriously unreliable in daily use. Common failures: the hydraulic pump motor brushes wear out, leading to no oil pressure, accumulator leaks, the clutch and flywheel wear, leading to slipping under load, and all the sensors fail. The symptoms are harsh and jerky shifts, delayed engagement, transmission fault warnings like limp mode, it gets stuck in gear or neutral, no start in some cases, or reverse only lockup. It's usually worse in traffic or on cold starts. To diagnose this, you would need a code reader that can scan transmission codes, and you could check the fluid condition. To prevent this, do oil changes every 40,000 kilometers in the transmission and try to avoid stop and go. If you can just stay on the highway or flow, it's a lot better. This shouldn't really be a car that you're driving through the city much. Or you can go with the manual option, which is a lot more reliable. To fix this, you're going to have to go with a pump motor rebuild or replacement. That's usually about $1,500 up to $3,500. Sometimes if the issues with the clutch and flywheel, you're going to have to replace the clutch and flywheel assembly, and that could be $4,000 to $8,000 including labor because you got to take the transmission out. The accumulator or sensors are usually about $800 to $2,000, and to do a complete SMG overhaul or a conversion kit to manual, it could be $10,000 plus. So it's honestly best just stick with the manual transmission if you can find one. Many owners regret the SMG. It's fun when working, but it's a nightmare when it's not. This car is also known for having a couple oil leaks, consumption problems, and a PCV system that fails a lot. The valve cover gaskets harden and crack, and the oil cooler O-rings shrink. The PCV system fails because the hoses clog or rupture, leading to a lot of consumption, and they say it's normal for about 1 liter per 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers, but if it clogs, it could get so bad that you're putting in a liter every 500 kilometers. Some of the symptoms are oil spots under your car after you leave it parked, a burning oil smell, low oil warnings leading you to top up the car a lot, and blue exhaust smoke on startup. To fix these issues, the valve covers are usually about $500 to $1,800 including labor. The oil cooler refresh is usually about $800 to $2,500 including labor, and the full PCV system, which is the hoses and the separators, is usually about $1,500 up to $4,500 because this is very labor heavy. Next, we have the coolant leaks and overheating. The plastic expansion tank cracks from age and pressure cycles, the hoses degrade, the rad and oil cooler can interfere with each other and mix oil and coolant, and if you live in a cold place, it can cause thermal shock. The symptoms are steam from the hood, temp gauge spikes, coolant puddles under the car, and a sweet coolant smell when you burn the coolant. To fix the tank, hoses, and sensors, it's usually about $600 to $1,500 including labor, and to do a full cooling system refresh, it could be $2,500 plus. 4 Vanos solenoids clog from oil debris. This is often due to rod bear wearing, putting metal into the oil. The high-pressure oil line in the pre-LCI models can crack and leak, and the pump can fail, and that could lead to metal shavings going in the oil and ruining the engine. Some of the symptoms are a rough idle, power loss in the mid-RPM range, rattling chains, code for the Vanos adaptation limits, and limp mode. To diagnose this, pressure test the Vanos system and check solenoids for sticking. To prevent this, clean it out during oil changes and replace the line proactively with rod bearings. To fix the 4 solenoids, you're going to have to pay about $1,500 to $3,000. The parts are usually about $250 to $400 each. The high pressure line is usually about $1,800 to $1,500 including labor, and a full pump replacement could be about $2,500 to $6,000 plus if it exploded. And remember to do your rod bearings first because the rod bearing debris often kills the Vanos. Some other less common issues that still happen on these cars are sticking injectors. These are about $1,000 to $4,000 a set including labor. Faulty sensors, which are usually about $500 to $800 to replace. The subframe bushings can crack and wear from torque. That's usually about $1,000 to $3,000 to replace. And the suspension components can wear due to the power and due to it being an old car, and that could be about $2,000 plus to redo the suspension. So, is the E60 M5 worth pursuing? For true enthusiasts who wrench, budget for maintenance, and treat it as a passion project? Absolutely. That V10 howl, the handling, the rarity, irreplaceable. But for most buyers seeking a fun daily for a cheap thrill, it's often a financial black hole. Always PPI from BMW or an M specialist. Insist on rod bearing inspection, Vanos pressure test, and an SMG scan. Demand full service history. Avoid cars without bearing or Vanos work documented. If you live up north, like northern United States or Canada, factor in there could be some salt damage. The underlying rust could make the car very hard to work on. Consider the LCI, the 2008 Plus model, because it has a better Vanos pump design. And budget about 30% of the car's purchase price annually for upkeep. And if you can, try to find the manual transmission. It's a lot more reliable and it's starting to go up in value. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you guys learned something new today, like this video and comment what you learned. If you guys got any E60 horror stories, please comment those down below. I definitely want to hear those. And subscribe for more content like this. See you guys next time.